Sounds like it's out of a horror movie. What's going on, guys? I'm Bill and welcome to Bill's How To. Today I'm going to be showing you guys how to fix a door that squeaks and creaks. Let's get straight into it, guys. Let's do this. Alright guys, so we've got some squeaky doors that need to be fixed. Getting in and out of this door without waking up a newborn isn't an easy task, so we've got two doors that I'm going to show you guys how to fix, and they're both different style hinges. Most people will tend to get WD-40 and grease and start quickly applying that to the hinges. That does work, however it's only a temporary solution. So that'll only last for a couple of weeks or a month. If you're lucky, squirt some in here, drop some grease along the pin, and that'll get rid of the noise just for a couple of weeks or a month if you're lucky, and then it's going to return. So what we're going to do is actually address the issue. The first thing you want to do is quickly have a look at your hinges, and you might notice there's some little black marking there all around the edges of our guides. Now what's happening here is that's actually rubbing metal on metal, and it's creating a little bit of dust or shavings here, which leaves a black mark. So we immediately know we've got an issue with this top hinge here. If we come down to the middle one, this one here is actually looking pretty nice and clean. We've got a little tiny spot here, but I'm not too concerned about that one. We'll come down to the bottom. Once again, we've got that black marking. So we know that we've got an issue with our bottom and our top hinge. What I've seen a lot of people try and suggest to do is to simply get a pair of pliers and bend all these guides so that it's nice and straight. Because if you have a look here, you'll notice everything's out of whack. This side here is too much to the right, too much to the left, to the right, to the left, and this one here is to the left again. We've got spacing differences as well, and that's because there's a lot of tension here on the pin and it's just completely warping all around, and that's what's causing the rubbing. Now you can bend all of these guides here to straighten it out. That will resolve the problem. However, it hasn't addressed the original concern or the original issue that caused this to be out of whack. So I'm going to show you guys how to fix that today. If we have a look, that is the worst noise. If we have a look at the back here, we're going to come around to the hinges. You can actually see just how far out of whack that one there is. And what we're looking for is to see the installation of the hinges, because a lot of times it's either somebody's dropped this hinge and it's buckled, or the pin is actually damaged and it's not sitting in straight, causing a bit of tension. In this case here, it's the actual installation of the hinges. So if we have a look here, that's recessed nice and flat on the door side. We come over to the door jamb, that top section's nice and flat. Then we've got a little lip right here. So that lip there is causing tension on the bottom ring right here, or the bottom guide, which completely throws everything out of line and puts tension on it. We'll come down to our middle one. This is nice and flat. Once again, nice and flat. So we don't have an issue with that one there. And this one here, once again, it's nice and flat on this side here. And then on the door jamb side, we've once again got that little lippage. So you can see, try and show you guys a bit of a better view. You can see there it hasn't been completely installed into the recessed area, and that's what's causing our issue here. So because we're working in a tight area, the easiest way is to remove the door from the hinges, and then we can readjust everything. So we're going to remove this side here first. Make sure everything's nice and flush underneath. Everything actually fits, and that there's no debris underneath it. So there is actually just a little bit of timber right here that I can shave off, so I'll quickly remove that one there. So it's just a tiny little bit of excess here. If we remove that, that should allow it to sit a bit flatter. So now we can test this hinge here out. Make sure everything's sitting nice and flat. Reinstall our screws, and then we're going to repeat the process on our bottom hinge. So once again, we'll check and see what's causing this one here to be sitting a bit proud. And you can see there it's actually just a little bit tight, so it hasn't been cut to the right size. I'm just going to quickly trim this one here. It might be just a millimeter or so out. So if I clean the edges here, I should actually give it just enough room to sit in there. And that there is sitting much better. So now we can reinstall these screws here. That's now sitting nice and flat. We'll reinstall the door. So now that we've got the door reinstalled, if we test it, Nice and silent, that's exactly what you're after, and we didn't use any WD-40 and any grease. We're going to move over to another door now that's got a different style of hinge on it. Sounds like it's out of a horror movie. This one here's got a different style hinge on it. But I'll bring you guys in closer now and I'll show you exactly what's happening on this one here. It's very similar to the other one. Everything's just out of line and I'm going to show you guys how to fix this one as well. So this time around we're in a bathroom, so it's going to echo a little bit. But once again, we're going to have a look at that top hinge. You can see all that dust coming through. And if you have a look at this, it's actually not straight at all. This bottom section here of the hinge is nice and straight. And then this one here just kicks off to the left. If you guys can see there. It's not sitting straight at all. So if we come back around to the front, this is actually a better view right here. You can see just how bent that top section is. And if we have a look from this side here, you can see there once again the bottom is straight and this top section here kicks off to the right. So if we have a look at our hinge here, you can actually see it hasn't been pushed in all the way to the edge of the rebate here. So we've got a nice big gap here, probably about 1 or 2 mil up on this top section. Yeah, that's probably a little bit better for you guys. You can see right on the edge there, that's actually the issue. So this section here's been pushed in nicely, this top section hasn't. So what I'm going to do, this style of hinge is actually different to the other one. You can lift this door completely off the hinges here without having to remove a pin. So for this style of door hinge, all you have to do is just have the door in an open position, simply lift up, and that'll completely come out to the side. So I'm going to show you guys a little bit closer so that you know exactly how this happened or how I removed it. We're going to adjust this one here and then we'll put it all back together and that should resolve our issue. Alright, so for this style of hinge here, you'll notice one side has a lug and the other side is actually hollow on top. So this one here literally just sits right on top of it and it just pivots on that little hole right there using that lug. So it's a pretty simple and easy design. What we're going to do is back these two here off, and because we're moving it only ever so slightly, probably about 2 millimeters or so, that means what I'm going to have to do is pre-drill the hole. Otherwise it's going to want to wander back straight back into the original hole. You can see that there's actually not that much play in it, but it was enough to make it creak. We'll pre-drill this one here straight into that center. Swap my drill bits back over and then we're going to drive a screw straight back into that new hole now. So now we can reinstall this door. It's a little bit harder to do when there's 3 hinges. That there is now locked in place. Time to test it out. And there we have it, guys. Absolutely no WD-40, no grease needed. Nice and simple, just fix the main cause of the issue to begin with and you won't have to always continue on with WD-40 every 3 or 4 weeks. Hopefully you guys have enjoyed this video, you've learned something new. As always guys, like, comment and subscribe. Until next time, I'm Bill. Thanks for watching Billshowto. Perfect.